So it's National Apprenticeship Week 2020, and it's a week I get really excited about. Mostly because I'm so passionate about apprenticeships. And why am I passionate about apprenticeships? Because I was an apprentice. So 5 years ago, I started on the lifting technician apprenticeship. The first time I put on PPE, the first crawler crane that I ever drove, and the first time I was up a tower crane. So when I went to school, construction wasn't really an option. I even remember in primary school, and we had this computer come in, and we put in our likes and our dislikes and what we we're interested in, and then it would print out what you should be when you were older. And me and my friend sat there and we sort of cross fingers. Come on, come on. I really wanted a vet. I can't remember what she wanted, but anyway, it printed out my new job role, what I should be in the future, and it was dog groomer. She got hairdresser. So my aspirations immediately were a bit squashed, we'll say. So I gave up the vet career. I kept moving on. And then when I went to secondary school, I was really interested in art, really interested in being creative, really interested in woodwork. But the only option for us was university. I didn't know about apprenticeships or what they could offer or what was out there. It was just university. And the advice was pick something you're good at. So I picked English literature, which I was good at the time. But when I did it at university, it was slightly different. I didn't enjoy it as much. So previous to this, I worked in sales, so I did loads of sales jobs. So I worked in a phone shop, I worked in advertising sales, I worked for magazines, I worked on the births, deaths, and marriages page of a local newspaper, which was either a really happy day or a really, really sad day. Eventually, I sort of made my way into recruitment, and I worked in a couple of different recruitment jobs. But I worked on a trades and labour section, so I put out to work painters, carpenters, bricklayers, um, plasterers, plumbers, anyone who works in that kind of sector. And I kind of looked at what these people were doing, what they were earning. I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing, and these people were earning a hell of a lot more money than I was doing. So I thought, could I do something here? I didn't know what I'd do. I didn't have the skill set. I didn't have any qualifications in construction. I didn't even know what kind of job roles I'd do as well. And it came to me in a light bulb moment. And I thought, could I work in construction? Okay, I didn't have the skill set. I didn't have the qualifications to do it. But would somebody give me an opportunity to learn? I didn't really know what I'd do. I didn't really know what jobs were available. So I sort of blanketed out a CV to a few different companies, and Langer Rourke rang me up and they said, would I be interested in a new apprenticeship they've got going, which is a lifting technician apprenticeship, which essentially means becoming a crane operator. And to be honest, it was something I never thought of doing. It was something that I didn't really think that women did. Uh, just from growing up, I didn't know any women who operated cranes. And so I kind of had to take a step back and question my belief in what women can do and what we can do, and would it be possible if I could do it? And I'd either be really good at it or I'd be really terrible at it. But someone's offering me a chance to learn something completely different. So I'd be silly not to take the opportunity and give it a go. So I started my lifting technician apprenticeship 5 years ago. So as part of my apprenticeship, I went to college. I went to college in Bircham Newton, which is a CITB college, and I went there for 3 months. In that time, I learned to operate tower cranes, I learned to operate crawler cranes, I learned to operate mobile cranes. I did slinging and signalling, I did traffic marshalling. We did a short stint on dumpers at the time as well. I know the apprenticeship has changed quite a lot, but this is what we did. So somebody was investing in me to learn all these new skills, to put me through all these tickets. And I think one of the proudest moments for me was when I left college and I was fully qualified. Suddenly I've got all these different things that I can do, that I'm signed off to do. Okay, I might not be the most confident at the moment or the most competent, but suddenly somebody's given me a chance to do something completely different. And for me, I think that was one of the biggest things about my apprenticeship, that I took a chance. I'm actually all right at what I'm doing. And somebody actually gave me the chance to do that. So following our apprenticeship, we have two different yards at our company, so we don't get put straight out onto site, which would have been, I think, terrifying for me, someone who's never worked in construction before. So I spent a few months in our yards. I worked on the crawler cranes and the tower cranes just to get my skill level up, make sure I was competent, make sure I was really comfortable with what I was doing. So you were never on your own, which is, I think one of the best things about an apprenticeship, you're so supported in what you do. So following that, straight out onto site once I was comfortable, knew what I was doing. My first site, I was lucky enough to work on a Crossrail site at Tottenham Court Road Crossrail Station, building the new station down there. And I loved that project. I spent 2.5 years on that project, and it really allowed me to grow as a crane operator. I was operating a crawler crane down there. We had a few cranes at one time, then I was the only crane operator left. And I think one of the best things about working on large projects is that once you leave that project, it will still be there. That station will outlive me. It will outlive people I know, but I'll always have a part of me sat in the middle of London that I contributed to. Now I'm working at Tideway, so we're building the new super sewer down there. So I think working in construction allows you to build these crazy big structures, to be part of something, to invest part of yourself into the London infrastructure. And I think that's amazing. If we think about construction and building and everything we do, if we're looking at, I don't know, everything you enjoy, sort of Disney World, roller coasters, water parks, somebody has to build them. You need a project manager, you need an architect, you need site managers, you need engineers, you need crane operators, you need plumbers, you need electricians, you need all these people in order to make these projects work. And I think that's why construction is a really good career for all of us. So since I started as an apprentice 5 years ago, my apprenticeships opened up many doors to me. It allows me to be really passionate about apprenticeships. It allows me to be really passionate about women working in construction. We actually have 5 female crane operators now, which I think is brilliant, and hopefully more will come in on the way. But I think it would be great if we could get young people thinking about these opportunities. I think when we look at our crane operators, especially our female crane operators, we all come from career changes. So we all did other things before. But I think to instill crane operating or construction work or engineering in young people from a younger age and make this their first choice, they wouldn't go through so much wasted time like I went to. I wasted a lot of time at university. I wasted a lot of time in jobs I didn't like. If I really knew about apprenticeships and what they could offer, I would have went straight down that route. I would have chosen maybe a degree apprenticeship, get paid while you're learning, come out of university, have a job, still get paid, and be on that ladder a lot sooner than I was. Or maybe I'd have gone for a non-degree apprenticeship. I'd have loved to learn a trade, like being an electrician or a plumber. I'd have loved to pick something like that up, and I think it would have been something that I really would have excelled at. So if we can get people thinking about these things far before they make their decisions, I think apprenticeship is always going to be a great route for most people, to be honest, whether they're degree or non-degree. An apprenticeship can be truly life-changing. It changed my life. I know other people whose this apprenticeship has changed their lives. Apprenticeship will give you confidence. It will give you a career. It will push you forward. People generally want to see you do really well at what you're doing. You have that support base. When somebody takes on an apprenticeship, they hand over a degree of responsibility. They're responsible for you. They're responsible for making sure you do well, that they're investing in what you're doing. So it does them well to see you do well. So they really want to see you excel at what you do and to be the best you can be. So as part of my apprenticeship, since it started 5 years ago, it's enabled me to do many things. So I go to a lot of schools now. I talk about working in construction. I talk about what I do. I talk about building sewers, building stations, operating cranes, other women who work in construction, other men who work in construction. I get to talk a lot about apprenticeships, which I didn't have when I was at school. So I think it's brilliant to be able to go in and just get young people thinking about apprenticeships. I get to do a lot of company talks. So I talk to other companies about what they can do to make things better for their apprentices, to make things better for their women on site. These are things that I really enjoy to do that I didn't think would be part of my job spec, to be honest. I've also been to the Palace. I got invited to the Queen's Tea Party. I've appeared on TV. I've appeared in magazines, Stylist magazine. I've appeared in the Metro. I've won awards for what I do. And if somebody told me, 6, 7 years ago that I could have learned to operate a crane and then I'd be doing this other stuff as well, and I'd have all these great opportunities, I would never have believed them. I've had a portrait painted. Who has a portrait painted? It was part of an exhibition by Tess Barnes, and it's fabulous that somebody even asked me to have a portrait painted. So with an apprenticeship, you never know where it will take you. You never know what you'll get to do. You'll never know what you'll be asked to do. And I think when people say, if you could go back to school and talk to your younger self, what would you tell yourself? I would tell myself to stop messing around, have a look at apprenticeships. Yeah, I didn't know what they were at the time, but have a look around, see what's out there, do something worthwhile. Don't waste all this time trying to get to where you are now. So, National Apprenticeship Week 2020, do an apprenticeship, get a career, change your life for the better. I'm going to end on that. Thank you.